483 and the 490 for over 2,000 years. So, y'all want me to go ahead and tell you when the 7 years is going to start?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Things is going, they're pretty chaotic, but they're not as chaotic as they're going to get. And as long as it's kind of just like it is right now, we're kind of okay. But soon, and I'll tell you the key thing to watch is what's happening with Damascus. Everything
That's right.
is revolving around Damascus because God said it's going to be destroyed. And he said it would never be rebuilt. And I thought, well, Lord, why would it be rebuilt? I mean, you know what, we build cities all the time. He said there won't be time because I'll be coming. But anyway, it'll get so bad that this world is going to demand that something take place. And then there's going to be a peace treaty. Or a covenant. The word calls it a covenant. I don't know what we'll call it, but I mean a peace treaty would be a good word, a good analogy. And everything will change in a moment of time when that happens. Let's flip back over to Daniel, and I'm going to try to wind this up here just a minute.
Can I just say that Damascus is the capital of Syria?
Yes, it is.
Okay, somebody doesn't know that.
Yes, it is the capital of
Syria.
Syria.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
Let's go back over to Daniel. Here just for a minute or two. Let's look at verse 20. 9. We're back over in chapter 9. Where he's talking about that there is the 490 years, or 69 plus 2, which was, but if you multiply 69 years, multiplied by 7 will be 483. And something else I got out of this. You remember one time, what was it, Peter, that said, how many times am I supposed to forgive my brother when he sins against me?
70 times 7.
That's
Yeah.
490 times in a day, if needed. So that was the time period for the tribulation. Daniel's prophecy of the 70 weeks has major significance. It defines both the first and the second coming of Christ. It tells us when the Christ is going to be born. Daniel got this, and it also lets us know that when the 7 years is up, that's when the end of it. So, the 70th week, the 69 weeks, 483 years, ended with the first coming of Christ. The last 7 years will terminate the second coming of Christ, and it will signal the climax of the age. This 70 weeks is really not all that complicated because this prophecy came from God, and it is to be dispensed in God's solar system. On a 360-day period. And see, the calendar was changed, and we now have, 365 days. Now then, I can understand something that I didn't never understand before. Satan changes the times and the season. And God says that we'll know, we won't know the day or the hour, but we'll know the season.
That's right.
But if he can mess us up by having the times different, so you have to count everything on a 360-day period instead of a 365-day. And I'm telling you, this is being taken place. There's some things that you can get that shows this now because through NASA and whatever, and this Sarah Robert Anderson, whatever his name was Scotland Yard. And it's God's exact mathematical time. And there's a reason for the different timetables that we have, and it's just to throw us off track. are 69 sevens of biblical years defined in this prophecy. This is God's timetable. And do you know something that amazed me several years ago, that I began to see that God works at specific times? He doesn't just get up today and decide this is what I'm going to do. Was that when Pentecost was fully come, and so now I didn't know a lot about all of this, so, but it said when Pentecost was fully come, that's when the outpouring, that's when the kingdom of power came into the earth. So God's got a set time to come. Does anybody here think you have kind of a clue when the season for that will be? Because He gave us feasts and times and seasons.
That's right.
Well,
Feast of Tabernacles.
Feast of Tabernacles.
That's right.
And see, I didn't know this until just recently. But anyway, it began with an edict or a decree that was made by Artaxerxes that was given to Nehemiah in the month Nisan in year 445 BC. And this decree allowed the restoration of Jerusalem. Its walls, its gates, it was built in troublesome times because they were in the tribulation period. And there's some things we'll talk about later, but we're not going to go there because it's going to be a whole different message. But God's final kingdom will be built in troublesome times. And there's another thing, and don't let this throw you off, that there was an earlier decree under Cyrus and Ezra. But they did not meet the criteria for this 70 weeks. There'll always be some things. And here's another thing. Guess what? They got over there. And they got ready to start building. And the king had given the order and the decree. And then you just have to go and read the book of Nehemiah and Ezra to kind of pull all this in and see exactly what the enemy done. And the devil's not going to stop. In this last days, he's going to be full of tricks. But I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to be full of victories and answers and insight. And we're going to be able to share with one another. And I'm going to tell you something else. I used to say, Lord, give us another Pentecost. Oh, Lord, give us another. Just give us another outpouring. We're so interested in this outpouring, And so one day He spoke to me and He said, don't you pray that prayer, don't you ask me that again. He said, I am not beginning a work, I am getting ready to end one. And you don't do in the end what you do in the beginning. You're not going to be doing in the end what was taking place on the day of Pentecost. He said it's going to be harvest time. And you know what? Now, my mother used to can some things. I've never hardly even had a garden. So I don't know a lot about this. But you know what? When those beans came in, there was the corn. There was the tomatoes. There was the potatoes. There was everything out there.
Right. And
it all had to be took care of at once. So guess what? If we can get this movie going, folks, and we really need to, and I wanted to say more about it, but anyway, we want everybody to take one of those little brochures, which will be telling us what this movie do. We're going to let everybody know what is going to begin to take place, because the harvest time in the natural, when you're putting up your produce, is terrible, and you're under a lot of stress. And in the end time, when it begins to come down to that, we're entering that last 7-year period, we're going to have people that's come. They hadn't probably ever even darkened the door of a church. But then they've got a hold of the truth. If we can get this message out there, we're going to tell them the kind of decisions that's made. There's some decisions that we've already made. I'm not going to give you those today, but we've already made that we're going to have to unmake.
Wow.
And they are going to be crucial. And they're going to be eternal. I can tell you that right now. I think you've got to put a mind to do it, knowing all of this. But you know what? If we don't know it, we won't be able to help the others that God is trying to do some things with. And you're going to have people in there that don't know a thing about church and don't know a thing about God. They're going to be nothing but a bunch of whiny babies. But folks, He's committing the gospel to some faithful folks.
That's right.
And we're going to be able to get through it. The 69 weeks ended on Palm Sunday, the day when Jesus rode down the streets of Jerusalem as our Prince of Peace. This was the only day that marked the political emergence of Christ. It was the only day that Jesus presented Himself as our Messiah or as our Prince. He didn't go around saying who he was and all this. And it's the only political statement that he ever made. There, he presented himself before this covenant people as their Messiah, but he did not establish his kingdom. It was a time. That would not take place until 2,000 years or more.